We are in a political standoff, facing yet another round of political contestation, which threatens our democratic and constitutional order. The stalemate has been largely driven by the political class. The people of Kenya, who have been granted the sovereign power under Article 1 of the Constitution, are being excluded and are hardly involved in key decision-making processes that impact on their lives. As civil society, this concerns us. Dear Kenyans, in 2010, we promulgated a people's constitution that vested sovereign power in we the people, and yet we are still beholden to our political leaders. As subject of the colonial rulers, were bound to their imperial lords. Our leaders have violated many aspects of the constitution while we watch on helplessly, forgetting that the power rests with us. Our political leaders have particularly betrayed Kenyans' quest for sustainable solution to the ongoing food crisis, cost of living, and access to public services, such as quality education, water, housing, and health, contrary to Article 43 of the Constitution of Kenya. They have destroyed the economy and failed to use their mandate to fix those parts that need fixing, and consequently making life unbearable for the majority of Kenyans. They have overborrowed, misspent, mismanaged, and stolen the proceeds of imprudent and expensive loans, leaving Kenyans with an unsustainable debt burden. They have also instituted heavy taxes to pay for their largesse and political arrangements by living opulent lifestyles and loading up the public wage bill with political cronies, while political allies evade taxes, placing the taxation burden on the Kenyan taxpayer.
I'll continue from where my colleague has left. Our leaders have also partaken in the plunder of the public purse and have adopted misplaced policies, to defund the public service, while basic services such as health, education, agriculture flounder due to corruption and mismanagement by government officials at all levels. Our leaders have continued to appoint to public office individuals with questionable integrity and further established unconstitutional offices to reward their political cronies. They have orchestrated deliberate state capture of independent institutions, namely the Office of the Director of Public Prosecutions, that's the ODPP, the National Police Service, the Office of the Controller of Budget, among others, to serve partisan political interests. They have continued to weaken and interfere with governance of elections and political conduct against the spirit of the Constitution, manifested through infiltration of the Independent Electoral and Boundaries Commission, Ethics and Anti-Corruption Commission, and the other institutions with related mandate on elections. Our leaders continue to undermine and erode devolution through deliberate delay and underfunding of counties, failure to release devolved functions, and abetting an accountability of county governments. In view of the foregoing, we hold that political leaders have unfortunately and repeatedly hijacked opportunities to address the above issues and converted them into bipartisan processes between political elite and end up with minimalist, compromised, and non-transformative reforms that only serve their selfish political interest.
Thank you very much. The following are our demands. Our first demand is that we demand that the bipartisan parliamentary talks be restructured and expanded to make it an all-inclusive, independent, and citizen-led dialogue process to discuss the immediate electoral issues and cost of living crisis, and address a wider discussion on midterm issues to get the country back on track. Our second demand is that we need to develop a framework with principles, values, timelines, and enforceability mechanisms for the dialogue to protect it from political capture and deal-making to ensure it addresses Kenyans' interests as previously envisioned. The third demand is that the above can be modeled along the National Constitutional Conference, commonly known as the Bomas process, which brought together legislators, district delegates, and all key actors as equal players to discuss and adopt the draft constitution between the year 2003, that is in April, and March 2004. With or without the constitution of the above framework that we've proposed and demanded, we therefore, as civil society, commit that we shall reach out to all civic groups and other progressive forces to institute an authentic citizen agenda and process for the salvation of our country through the collective action of the people as provided in the Constitution of Kenya. This include religious institutions, trade unions, professional bodies, business groups, and the media, who form the cog that needs to anchor this conversation. We also commit that we will engage political leaders, regional actors, the international community to work closely in pushing the Kenya recovery agenda, including Agenda 4 item in the Kenya National Dialogue and Reconciliation process in the year 2008. The third one is that we commit as civil society organizations to institute a value-based, rights-driven, and citizen-led process of economic and democratic justice to address those who have committed crimes against the people of Kenya. It is for this reason that we are advocating for the adoption and the implementation of the Truth, Justice, and Reconciliation Commission report, among other reports on historical injustices in Kenya. And there are undersigned institutions that we shall issue you with, that you shall be able to see once you get the printed version of the statement. I think we will open it up for questions and engagements, and colleagues who are seated and those who are behind us will be able to respond appropriately. Thank you.